Hey there, artsy friends or artsy curious friends. I am working on pages in my new composition notebook art journal. This is the second one I've done. I'll put a link below if you want to see how I made the first one. So this one I'm doing a little differently, and I'm kind of making it up as I go along instead of preparing pages ahead of time. And I'm not gluing all the pages as far as making them 2 or 3 pages thick yet. I'm sure some pages will require an extra thickness, but for now I'm working on a page that's going to have a collage base, so I really don't think it's necessary to double up the pages on this one. So I'm just gathering some potential collage material. That was a dictionary, an old one that I found like at a thrift store, and I'm going to use matte Mod Podge to work on my collage. I love using maps, something about maps, I don't know. The lines are always unique and interesting. This is an old map of Idaho. So every time I use it and I'm like tearing up different sections, I'm remembering those places that I used to live near. So once I have 2 or 3 different materials to start with, then for collaging, I don't usually arrange. I just kind of make it up as I go. And that first sheet that I'll get to again here in a moment was my first attempt at the gel plate. And that's something I didn't feel like it was worth sharing or making a video yet because there's kind of a learning curve with that. But my practice papers make for good collage materials. So that's what I'm using in there. And if you didn't catch my first video of this new series, this is an old notebook that I started to take notes on and realized that I really don't like writing on graph paper. If the lines are super dark, it was just confusing my eyeballs. So that's why I'm just going over written things. And in fact, I was helping a friend clean out her a room of hers, and so she had a bunch of composition notebooks left over from when her kids were homeschooling, and some of them were like, barely used or just had some math equations in and stuff. So I have those in my stash. So if I keep going with the composition notebook art journal, then I will just repurpose them, which I always feel good about doing instead of buying new things. What can you reuse? It's something redemptive about turning something that would have gotten thrown away into art. Do you feel that way? I feel that way. Yeah, so these are the collage papers from the gel plate, and I did use a lot of metallics, which I love metallics. And one thing I'm doing as I am layering my collage here is I'm kind of tearing them mostly in rectangles and squares, and I'm keeping the horizontal and vertical lines-ish. Which you can do it any way you want. But I realized I was kind of starting to follow that pattern. And at one point I tried to kind of change, right there. Right there, right there. I was like, wait, I don't like it diagonal because everything else is more parallel or perpendicular. So yeah, so maybe there is a little bit of a technique to my collaging. So I'm going to tear up another paper that I did on the gel plate. This one has more purples. We're going to kind of work with that. So I'll let you watch. Anytime you are working with anything that's sticky, like I use this glitter glue, you want to make sure that it is completely dry before you start the next layer, or you're going to have ruined markers and all kinds of things. So from here, I went on to Pinterest to kind of revisit my inspiration for this page, which is this page spread right here. I like how it's got a giant quote spread across the whole thing, and the letters are like shining through, and you just fill in the negative space. So I'm going to do something like that. Okay, so to achieve that look, I'm going to create block letters, and you want to be careful to make sure that the white space inside of the letters is plenty thick, and that you leave a little gap between the letters, because and we're going to go back in and fill in the negative space around the words. So if you make them too small and tight, it might be kind of difficult. So I'm not too worried about my font. I kind of like an organic free flow where I'm always trying to get a balance between intentionality and spontaneity, and just letting it go, letting it flow, letting it go. So I don't have any. So anyway, my font, my writing isn't super fancy. But yeah, and then you just begin filling in the negative space. It's really easy with a Posca marker to do that. It covers really well. So Psalm 34 is one of my very favorite psalms, and so this is a verse out of that. I sought the Lord, or Yahweh, and he delivered me from all my fears. So I'm liking the look so far, but it is kind of difficult to read the letters. So I'm going to go back in with the silver Posca marker and outline the letters. And I think that is going to help a lot to make it pop, which it is. I'm loving it. So I just felt like the page needed a little bit more to it than just the quote and the background. Like it needed another element. So I'm going to do these half circles down here in the lower right and then in the upper left so that they kind of are symmetrical, but not exactly symmetrical. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Hope that you enjoyed watching my process and that inspires you to go make some art.